Hello guys, welcome back to my channel again. So we are in the Python series right now, and in the last session we have learned about what is string, what is indexing, how the string slicing works. In this video we are going to talk about string functions and methods. So Python has a lot of inbuilt functions and methods, right? That eases programmers a day-to-day task, right? Depending on what they want to build, what is their uh, use case or scenario, etc., right? So let's take an example here, right? I'm taking a string here. I am writing it welcome to Python tutorial, right? Now the first one I want to let you know is, right, when you say, like, when you type something like str dot, right, whatever you see here in Visual Studio Code, like, the drop down, etc., these are all the standard inbuilt functions, that are uh, built in Python, right? So you can utilize them based on your business use case, and we're going to cover few of them, and I want you guys to practice, also explore the other ones what we are not going to cover. And if you have any questions, comment on the channel, right? So let's say, right, the first one what we're going to talk about is ends with, right? So what I'm doing is ends. So if you see ends with, right? So ends with has a string variable, right, as a parameter. So what it will return is, it will return true if the string ends with the specified value what we are going to pass right now, right? And if it does not find that value, the output will be false. So I'm going to pass the value as, since it's a string value with what we are going to pass for the variable above, uh, I'm going to pass 2, right? Now let's see what is the output here, right? Executed and it's false, right? Because the string does not ends with 2, right? It's end with al. So I'm going to change it now, run it. It is true right now, right? This is the this is how ends with function work here. Let's talk about capitalize, next one. So the capitalize is nothing but what it will do is, for the entire string, it will only capitalize the first letter of your string, right? So if you see, W is lowercase here, and it's a method, right? So we don't need to pass anything here, right? So W is lowercase. When we run it, it will be in uppercase here. That's the capitalized one. The next one what we are going to cover is replace. So replace has two values here, right? If you hover the cursor here, right, replace will have a old string and a new string, and it will replace anything that is found in that string. So let's say I want to replace to with from, right? Everything has to be in the quotation mark, right? Because it's a string. So I'm replacing to with from. So first two is getting replaced here. Second two will be here. So we should see that changes there, right? So welcome from, and this became to from, right? That's how things work there. Then there is a count function also, which will generally count the occurrence of substring in a string, right? If it's there, right? Let's see. Sorry for that. It's 2, right? So these are all the standard string functions. So there are a lot of them as well, right? So we can cover, there is something like, let me think which one is the We have covered capitalize one. There are many functions and use cases here. So there is a uppercase also. This will, that's the one what we saw, right? Run it. It change the entire string to uppercase, right? Then there is other one also is identifier. There's something called as string identifier. The method is identifier, so it will check if the string is a valid identifier. So here we have a string, so let's see something like x is equal to txt str dot is identifier and going to print x, right? So the identifier here method, it returns true if string is a valid identifier, otherwise false. So string is, so you might be thinking, right, what is a valid identifier? So string is considered a valid identifier if and only it contains alphanumeric characters like A to Z, 0 to 9, underscore. Like a valid identifier cannot start with number or cannot contain spaces, etc., right? So that's the reason for using this particular function, right? We can do it in one more way also, right? So let me do something like a is equal to my bag, right? B is equal to JSON0032, something like that. C is equal to, I'm typing all valid identifiers here, right? Something like that. To for box, and D is equal to something like my tutorials, and let's print it. A dot is identifier, right? That's a method. Let's print for A, right, and C. Clear. So A is true, right? Similarly, let's print for the other ones, right? B is also true, right? I'm going to do it for C. C is also false, right? And D should again be false, right? Yeah, it's a false, right? So these are all the string methods what we have covered here. Now I want you to practice all these string methods, function. Also take help from Python documentation, and let me know if you have any questions. Now I will see you in the next one, right? Have a good day.